Michael Carter, a quiet, reserved black man, is wrongfully convicted of a crime he didn't commit. Sent to a high-security prison, he finds himself in a world where racial tensions are constantly rising. He keeps mostly to himself, often appearing lost in thought. While he might seem like any other prisoner, there is more to him than meets the eye. Beneath his stoic exterior lies a past filled with military service, something Michael is determined to keep hidden. He carries the weight of this past in the form of a deep scar, a reminder of his years of service. Michael is, in fact, a legendary Delta Force commander, but has kept his true identity a secret. His military career has been erased from all records due to a government cover-up, and he now exists under the guise of a man wrongfully imprisoned. The prison environment is tense, with racial hatred simmering at every corner. A white supremacist gang has taken hold within the facility, growing more powerful and controlling as the days go by. Michael, simply by being black, quickly becomes a target of the gang's relentless bullying. They see him as just another prisoner, unaware of the extraordinary man they are trying to break. Michael, however, does not react with anger or violence. Instead, he remains calm and composed, choosing silence over confrontation, even when attacked. Flashbacks offer glimpses into Michael's past, a time when he led Delta Force missions and thwarted a major international threat. His leadership in covert operations earned him respect among his peers, but his identity remained classified, concealed by the very government he once served. The flashbacks show a man who once held great power and influence but was now stripped of it all. His reputation as a hero, a leader, had been erased, and all he had left was his prison cell. Unbeknownst to the racist gang, Michael's military background has not been erased from his mind. As they continue their relentless attacks, he begins to reveal subtle signs of his past training. While he avoids violent confrontation, his mind is always working, calculating his next move, using his environment to his advantage. He shows his strength and tactical thinking in quiet ways, defending himself without ever fully engaging in battle. His goal is survival and restraint, not revenge. It isn't long before another prisoner, Sarah, begins to notice Michael's quiet strength. Sarah, a former military strategist, sees in Michael what others do not. She watches his movements, the way he thinks, and she realizes that he is not the ordinary prisoner he appears to be. She approaches him cautiously, offering help and support, though Michael is reluctant to reveal anything about his past. Through a series of subtle conversations, Sarah uncovers the truth: Michael was once a Delta Force commander who led classified operations. Sarah encourages Michael to fight back, to use his skills and abilities to stand up to the gang openly. But Michael is wary. He knows that bringing attention to himself could have consequences, and is not sure he is ready to face them. He's been living under the radar for so long that stepping into the spotlight again is a risk he's not sure he wants to take. As time goes on, the gang becomes more brazen in their attacks. Tensions continue to rise, and it's only a matter of time before things reach a breaking point. That moment comes when the gang attacks Sarah, pushing Michael to his limit. In that instant, everything changes. Michael is forced to act, not just for himself but for the people around him. With precision and skill, he unleashes his combat training, taking on the gang in an explosive confrontation. His actions are swift and calculated, his leadership shines through as he protects Sarah and others from further harm. In that moment, Michael shows the true extent of his abilities, but he does so with the goal of protecting those he cares about rather than seeking revenge or retribution. The prison chaos doesn't go unnoticed. Michael's actions, his leadership, and his military past become the center of attention, drawing media coverage from the outside world. The story of his wrongful conviction is uncovered, and people begin to question the corruption that led to his imprisonment. The gang's hold over the prison is shattered, and Michael's name is cleared. His reputation as a hero is restored, But the years spent in prison have taken their toll on him. Michael is released from prison, his charges dropped, but the scars of his experience remain. He's been through a system that failed him, and his soul bears the weight of the injustice he endured. In the silence of his newfound freedom, Michael begins to reflect on everything that has happened. The wrongs that were done to him are far from over, and he realizes that he cannot simply walk away from the fight for justice. The years of violence, discrimination, and injustice have left a deep mark on him, and he knows that he can't turn his back on what he believes in. Michael becomes an advocate for prison reform and racial justice. He starts speaking out against the system that wrongfully imprisoned him and countless others like him. He works to bring attention to the injustices faced by those who are incarcerated for crimes they did not commit. His story becomes a beacon for those who have been forgotten, and he begins to mentor young people who have been affected by the system. The story ends with Michael at a prison reform rally, standing before a crowd as he delivers a powerful speech. He talks about his journey from his military service to his wrongful conviction, his time in prison, and his fight for redemption. He speaks of the courage it takes to stand up to injustice and the importance of knowing one's identity. In his closing words, he reminds the audience that the fight against racial injustice and systemic oppression is not one person's battle, it's a collective fight that requires everyone's involvement. The final message of the story underscores how systems of hate and injustice can be dismantled when people find the strength to stand up and fight back. It shows that even one person's courage can inspire others to make a difference in society.